Welcome to our webinar today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're really happy you can join us. We have an exciting topic in store for you today. This is a topic that a lot of customers ask us a lot about, so we thought, why don't we just bring our experts in and talk about it? What we want to do is show you our mobile application today, because we know that these days everyone is literally running their lives on their phone, and a lot of the times even business too. And that's why we built an intuitive mobile application that allows you to bring some of the same powerful case management tools you use daily in the Desk.com agent console. And now everything is available on your mobile device. If you didn't know about this, I'm glad you're with us today. And if you do, we're actually going to show you a demo of how this works so that we can show you some tips and tricks and also shortcuts to some of the features that you might not have known about. So without further ado, let's get started. This is our safe harbor statement. Because Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and sometimes we might show you some cool functionalities and show you things that are on our roadmap, we just want to remind you that every purchasing decision you make today should be made based on what's currently available. Please interact with us. You can ask us questions and let us know what your favorite tip is. You can interact with us on Twitter. We've got a social media team that is on the other end waiting to answer questions. You can also use the GoToWebinar chat bar at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and I see that some people have already asked questions, so good to know that you know exactly where that is. Today's program will be about 40 minutes long. What we have prepared for you is 30 minutes of content, and we'll save the last 10 minutes for Q&A. So make sure you get all your burning questions in, enter those questions, and I'll make sure to get them in the queue. And lastly, if you can't stay with us until the end, don't worry. This webinar is recorded and we'll distribute the recording afterwards. And this actually goes for all of our webinars. If there are webinars in the future that you'd like to attend, but you cannot, we're always going to record a webinar and post a recording afterwards on our YouTube channel. Quick introduction. My name is Kira Cho, and I am your host for today. I am part of the product marketing team here at Desk. I'm really excited to have Pam Yoon sitting here right next to me. She is a senior product manager and is in charge of mobile at Desk. It's really funny because at any given time, you can literally see Pam holding 5 different mobile devices in her hands. So some of the features that you see today is really a testament to all of her and her team's hard work. So welcome, Pam.
Thanks, Kira.
Pam, do you want to give us a quick introduction of who you are, how long you've been at Desk.com, and previous roles that you've been in?
Yeah, thanks. And thanks everyone for attending. I'm Pam, and I've been at Desk for almost 2 years, and I'm in charge of all of the mobile initiatives here. And I have a background in e-commerce, financial services, and SaaS products.
Great. Well, just to level set and to start, I'd like to do a little storytelling, really on the shift of customer service and explain kind of the change in customers' expectations because of the shift. When we think about yesterday's form of customer service, it was really about providing service over the phone. So companies typically have a call center, and your customers will have a 1-800 number that they will call. And you'll also have agents on the other end of the phone helping them with the issue. Now, that still happens for the most part, and for a lot of enterprises, big organization. But for small and medium businesses, we don't have the luxury of having a call center and a lot of agents on the other end waiting to help our customers. In addition, in today's social and mobile world, customer service is really more than just about the help desk agent that answers your question when you call 1-800 number for help. It's grown to really encompass every interaction that a customer is having with you as a brand. It includes phone, email, chat, web forms, other forms of social communication. So think Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, as well as self-service support sites. And to make it even harder for you as a support manager, your customers are talking to you and asking you for help before, during, and after a sale. So how do you ensure that you're always providing this always on 24/7 support in this social and mobile world, in this world that all of your customers expect you to be instant, expect you to be there to answer their questions. Lucky for you as a Desk.com customer, we built a mobile app for you so that you can always stay on top of your customer request. You can start to do things like assigning a case, resolving a case, assigning it to a different agent. All of those things you can do in our mobile app even when you're not at your desk. So the exciting part. Now, Pam, tell us all about the mobile app and the things that we need to know about it.
Sure. As Kira said, the world is more mobile, so we have two native mobile apps, and so you can see here is a screenshot of the iOS app on the left, the Android app on the right, and these are available to all agents, all types of agents, including Flex agents. And a little bit about what we're working on. We are constantly updating the apps. So, if you ever have issues, you can pretty much guarantee it'll be addressed down the line. We're always adding new features. One of the most exciting new features we added was internationalization. The apps are now available in 8 different languages. Includes English, French, German, and a whole list of other languages. So if you have agents that need to use the app in any of those languages, you can just get that right away. And I have a quote here that I think is really funny, and it's really interesting. It's a story that a customer told us, Richard from 212 Staffing. He said, "I can deal with cases on the go. Desk gives us the competitive edge." And the story behind that, and the reason why Kara showed a cab stuck in New York City in the previous slide is that Richard has a lot of clients who demand 24/7 service. He was literally stuck in a New York City cab in a traffic jam for a couple hours and couldn't access his computer. And so he was really glad that he had the mobile app and he could respond to clients from the cab basically for a couple hours. And he said the competitive edge was that he could respond to his clients and his competitors couldn't. So that was a really great use case for why we need mobile.
That's great. So none of us like to talk through slides. So what we've done is created a demo for you to show you what this looks like in practice. And what Pam has done right here is she recorded, she did a recording, and we're actually going to talk through some of the features that are in the mobile app. So what we can do is play this video and take it away, Pam.
Thanks. So this is actually going to show everything in the iOS app. The Android app is very similar, but most of our users are on iOS. So I'm going to just go through the iOS example. So hopefully you've downloaded the app by now, but this page might be familiar to you. This is the first thing you see when you go to the mobile app and you log in. Let me just give you an overview of what we're seeing here. So this is the main list of cases for the filter, your default filter. So at the top left, there's this 3 horizontal line thing that's technically called a hamburger for whatever reason. That is something you can tap on. And once you tap on that, it'll show you your filters. So on the left, you'll see these are your list of filters. And at the bottom, there's a toolbar that I want to walk you through.
Yeah, actually, filters are really great. This really mimics the agent console and the experience on the desktop. But essentially, filters are dynamic, customizable queues that make it really easy for you and your teams to organize, My Cases, which is just your case queue, different topics, so shipping, or different types of customers, so different tier customer support or different channels like Twitter. So this is just a great way for you to organize your cases for those of you that aren't fully utilizing the filters functionality.
Right. So let me show you what the little icons on the bottom mean. So the first one on the bottom left is a little question mark. That's essentially a way for you to contact Desk. It'll use the native phone email client, and you can just give us any feedback, and we'll know what version of the app you're using right away from the subject line. It will automatically be in there. The middle one is a little gear icon, and that is how you access push notifications. Push notifications are great because they allow you to not always be on your phone, but will alert you when you want to be alerted. So that is something that is really helpful on mobile.
Oh, and Pam, what if I actually, some customers told me that they don't have that icon, or like, where do you set up push notification if it's not in the actual app? You don't see it.
So yeah, that's a good question. Especially in iOS, if you have seen when you download an app, do you want to allow push notifications for this app? Often a lot of us choose no, and, for good reason. But when you do that, for the moment, that gear icon in the Desk app will not be there because you told us you don't want that. If you do want it, it's very easy to set that up. You can just go to your settings in the iOS app. And then go to notifications and look for the Desk app and just turn that back on, and that gear icon will show up and you can get your push notifications. Okay, so let me show you what push notifications actually looks like. So I click on the gear icon. This is what you see. So what this is saying is that I want to receive notifications about new cases. And the other option is I want to receive notifications about cases assigned to me. So within new cases, if you click on that, you'll see case created, case assigned to me, case assigned to group. What that means is that you want to get all new cases if you choose case created, which is not always recommended if you have a ton of cases that come in every day, because you will get every single case created, and you probably don't want that unless you're a smaller company. Case assigned to me is actually really good because obviously if something needs attention, it's for specifically you, you will get the notification about that. And I actually use that every day. Case assigned to my group is an interesting one too. You can use that if, for example, I'm on the product team. If our support team sees any product requests that come in, they might assign it to the entire product team. And because we all talk to each other and collaborate on our team, we actually all want to see that feedback. So that's a good option for something like that. So the other notification, going back to the screen, is case assigned to me. So within that, case assigned to me has a bunch of options. So for all the cases that are assigned to you, you can get one that is based on a case priority being changed, a new response coming in for that case, or a new note. Generally, I like to choose new response and new note because it's something that usually has to do with a case that I'm dealing with, and a customer maybe has responded back, and I want to know, what that response is, or someone else on the team has sent me a note and they need me to see it and address it. So those are ones that I like to use. So the other option on this bottom toolbar is logout. So it's on the bottom right. It's next to the gear icon. It's just in case you need it. For the mobile app, we actually don't log you out actively. So that's something you can use if you need it. Okay, let's go back to the inbox. So going deeper into this page, you can see this looks a lot like the web app. It'll show you your list of cases. You can see some labels here, like address change, billing. You can see the type of case it is. So you can see this little Twitter icon, phone. You can also see the preview, a little preview of the content of the case. And here on the left is the gravatar or avatar of the customer. You probably already know, but the avatar will show up for the customer if the gravatar account is enabled. If not, it'll show the initials of the person. So here's Tom with T, Aaron has an E. Also, you'll see the status of the case right here. So this is, for example, this is open. The case above it is P pending. And that's really helpful to just scan really quickly. Okay, so I'm scrolling through here. You can see the entire list of cases. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that.
Yeah, let's just go back to
yeah.
The reason why we did a video is because the Wi-Fi is always so unreliable. We just don't want to have any technical difficulties. And so what Pam has done is just recorded all of this. So great.
So let me go into the details of a case. So I clicked on that first case here. So right now you're looking at the conversation view. This is basically the entire thread. So I can even click on more messages here to see the entire thread. You can see, obviously, we started draft already, but I haven't finished it. So I'll show you that later. But I also want to show you at the very top, on the top right, there's a toggle there that says case details. If you click on that, that will show you all the details of the case. So right here, you can see there's a lot of information. The first one is customer. You can actually see customer and company profile in that. The second one is agent. You can assign it to an agent. You can assign it to a group also below that. You can set a priority, and you can set status. You can also add multiple labels at the same time if you want. And at the bottom, we had a custom field in there. You can put in any kind of custom field you want, and you'll see it there. You can also edit it there. So I'm going to go back to the conversation tab just to show you how some of that looks.
Yeah, this is great. This is where you can start to reassign it to different agents or escalate it to your support manager if you're on the support team, so you can escalate the case. But that's really useful. Everything's on one screen.
Yeah, so, just going back to what I was just showing you, this is the customer tab or the customer profile. This is how you assign an agent. And we'll revisit that later, a little bit later. And that is how you assign group, priority. The UI is pretty simple. It's very intuitive. It's meant to be for, really quick actions. We know you're not going to be on your phone for 8 hours a day responding to complex cases. And that's the custom field.
Yeah, and a lot of the features that you've built really mimics all the other actions that we're used to. For example, in Gmail, in my Gmail, I know that swipe to resolve is one of the actions, and that's exactly one of the actions that's part of the Desk.com feature set as well. So a lot of the stuff is very intuitive. It just works.
Yeah, I wanted to also go back to this view because I want to show you the toolbar at the bottom. There's actually a lot you can do here on this case. The bottom left, there's a little arrow there, and that's for reply. The one next to that looks like a little box is adding a note. The little magic wand is the macro. For those of you who might not know, macros are time-saving actions and text that get automatically applied when you choose them. They're really useful for commonly asked support questions that maybe you'd have to answer multiple times a day, and you don't want to have to type it out. You don't want to have to assign it to the group that you usually assign it to. It's a really useful tool. The last two on the right are really great. They're shortcuts. The one with the little head here is assigned to agent or group. That's often used, and I showed you that before, how you can get to that from case details, but this is a shortcut to it because it's used a lot. The one on the bottom right is customer and company profile. So again, it's another shortcut you can get to here as well as in case details.
Yeah, because we know that when we're helping our customers, we want to provide that most up-to-date, personalized experience. And so that's why it's good to have their account information right there so that we know exactly what's happening at that point in time.
Right. Okay, I'm going to show you what happens if you click on that little magic wand. So I just chose to apply a macro. So these are our macros, and we know you probably have a ton of macros. Obviously, we only have 3 here in this example, but this is why we put in a search macros option here. We know there are a lot of agents who might be new, and it's hard to keep on top of all the new macros that get added. So we put in the search here. So that's really useful. So say I want to click on allergies and follow up. You just hit next. And then you go to this screen. So this screen is interesting because it shows you the entire macro and what it's going to do. Oops, I'm sorry, I keep clicking on that.
Yeah, and it's okay. So basically today we created a demo account of BarkBox for those of you that don't know what their brand does. But if you guys have doggies, what BarkBox does is that it sends you a monthly package right to your doorstep, and it includes dog treats and dog toys for you so that you can supply it to your dog. And so in this instance, the case that came in was a BarkBox customer. One of their dogs developed an allergies to chicken. And so they submitted this case. And what Pam just did is applied a macro because allergies is a frequently asked question or a topic that comes in a lot. And so we created this macro for that frequently asked question.
Okay, going back to the screen. So, you can scroll through here. You can see all the things, including the copy that you actually want to send to the customer. You can see, make sure that it's actually what you want to send. And what's really great here is that if you want to edit the copy, you can do that here. So you can see the keyboard shows up and you can make sure, that's exactly what I want. I'm happy with it. And then when you are happy with it, you can apply that. And you get the options of updating and send, updating, sending, and resolving. And I chose update and send. And then it gets sent. Going back to the toolbar at the bottom, just to show you. I just wanted to highlight the note icon. There's something in mobile that's, a little unexpected from the web app. You can add an internal note, which you probably already know, and that's really easy to do if you just click on that. On mobile, we know that adding a note, normally has to go to another agent or someone else in your company. On mobile, we didn't want to make it two steps. So here we actually put in the reassign the case option just from the same screen. So that's really useful when you're adding a note, and then you can just assign it in the same step. So I'm adding my note here, and I'm going to assign it. And then I'm happy with my note, so I'm going to hit done. So I'm going to go back to the section I was showing you before. So the case list view. So there are a bunch of new features that we've launched that you might not know about that are sort of hidden in the screen. We didn't mention this before, but you might have seen at the very top, there's a search all cases. That's something, at least in iOS, if you pull down the list of cases, you can see that little search entry bar. You can search across all cases and customers, and that's really useful. On Android, it's on the top right. It's a little magnifying glass, and that's how you can get to search. Edit on the top right for iOS, we have bulk editing. So if you click on the edit button, I can show you what it looks like here. You'll see the options show up here to choose different things. And this is just like bulk editing in the web app. You can assign to an agent. You can change the status. You can choose a label. That's really useful. Let me show you what it looks like again, just to review. This is accessed by the icons at the bottom. So here is the assign. This middle one is change status. This one is labels. So that is a really useful feature when you want to get things done really quickly, like say resolve a bunch of spam cases or something like that. Okay, another really cool feature that I want to show you is also accessible from that page that I was just showing you. Let me skip ahead to that. Okay, so you might have noticed recently we did an update to the iOS app. There's a little plus sign on the bottom right. If you scroll on that plus sign, the plus sign will actually disappear, which is a good thing because you want to actually see what's underneath it. But when you stop scrolling, it will appear again. What that is the create a new case feature. So the plus sign is gone, but now it's back. So if you click on that, you see this. This is something that is a most requested feature ever since we launched the app last year. This is the ability to create a brand new case. You can do email, phone, or Twitter. Just a note, if you don't have a Twitter account attached to your Desk site, it won't actually show up. But if when you do attach it and then you go back into the app, it will show up. So I'm going to go through an example here just to show you how this looks. So say I want to create an email case. So if I click on email, tap on email, you get this screen here, and you know that you have to have a customer attached to every new case. So I search for Kira. Kira actually exists as a customer, so I can choose her right here, right now, and just create the new case. But what if I want to add a new customer, and I know the customer doesn't have any kind of customer record in Desk already? You can just actually do that here. So I'm going to choose Pam as a new customer. I'm going to tap on Create Customer Pam. And then you will actually be able to create a new customer right here. So it's really two big features hidden in that little plus button. And that's a really convenient thing, especially for teams that are doing maybe field service, or you're just on the go and you don't have access to your computer and you need to record what the customer has just been telling you. A lot of people will use phone cases in that case when they're doing a site visit.
Oh, so here's a question. Is there a suggested choice for when creating a case that is an in-person case versus an email or a phone?
Oh, yeah. So that's actually what I was just talking about. Our customers are really clever and they tell us a lot of best practices and how to use the site. And that's actually the most common one. A lot of people use phone cases. Phone cases don't actually require email addresses or Twitter handles. They don't, like the other cases do. So that's a really convenient one to use when you go visit someone on site. And what ends up happening usually is that the agent will create the phone case. They won't actually send it. They'll then add a note because there's usually some sort of follow-up, and then the note will be assigned to the other agent or internal person at their company that needs to follow up. And so that's actually a really good workaround. So that is the entire demo for today.
That's great. So thank you so much, Pam, for preparing that for us. So let's talk about something that's new and upcoming and exciting. Mobile SDK. What exactly is it?
Sure. This is totally switching gears from the mobile apps. The SDK is, you could say, it's sort of the other side of it, because it's actually more for your customers using your mobile apps. An SDK is a software development kit. What that means is it's a way for our product to be easily embedded into your mobile apps. To do that, your developers have to do a little bit of work, but the reason we created an SDK is because it's a lot easier than starting from scratch. We are in a pilot program right now, so if you're interested in being in this program, just contact me directly, and we can talk about what features you're interested in and how this might work. But let me go into a little bit about the features. So you can see here, it looks like it's a FAQ or help center for a customer. This is our example, Aloha Adventures. So these are all the topics. You can do a lot of things in the SDK. One of them is searching for articles and topics. You can contact an agent from the native phone. So, either the iOS or Android phone client. But for now, we're only in the pilot for iOS. Android is going to be later on. But we're interested to hear what you would want feature-wise. Let me just show you some more screenshots on the next page. So the one on the left is what it would look like if you're looking at an article and you're on either an iPad or a 6 Plus iPhone. The one on the right is what I mentioned before about being able to contact an agent. You can customize this, if you don't have phone support, you don't have to show that. But the good thing about it is that it's using the phone's native features. So, for example, if you hit call us, it'll just do the normal iPhone, do you want to call this phone number, option. The email us will just go right to the native email client. So that's the SDK. We're really excited about it, and so I'm really interested to hear who's interested in it and what you might want to use it for. So definitely contact me if you're interested in it.
That's happening already. People are already typing in the
Oh,
chat.
great,
Chat bar to tell us
great.
they're really
A lot of meetings.
for this. So. Great. So where do we get the app?
Yeah, so the app is really easy to get. We didn't really talk about it that much here, but we are able to see the app on tablets. So, if you want to be on an iPad, if you want to be on a Samsung Galaxy Tab, you can use the app also there. So just for iOS, go to the Apple App Store. And for Android, just go to the Google Play Store, and they're all there. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Pam. I love the demo. Thank you so much again for preparing that for us and showing us all the features. For those of you that have questions later on or after the webinar, feel free to send them to support@desk.com. Or if you have any other feature requests or other ways you'd like to see things being done differently, we always welcome feedback. One of the ways for us to continue to deliver a product that you guys all love is by hearing from you. So any time, if you have any questions or feedback, please send them to support@desk.com. So let's move on to Q&A. We actually have a lot of questions here. I tried my best to answer during the webinar, but we still have a few. So Pam, I'm going to read them off to you, and then you can try and let me know what the answer is. So can you do merge cases right now? Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I know merge cases is something that's really important. Currently, you cannot do that in the app, but it's definitely on the list for future update.
That's great. What about the avatar? When we're talking about the profile photo of your customers, sometimes it doesn't show up and sometimes it does sporadically show up. Do you know technically like what's happening with that?
Yeah, I mean, unless you're talking about specifically with the mobile app, the way that it works for web and mobile is that the customer has to have a Gravatar avatar or picture, and Gravatar is a third-party service. So if you go to Gravatar's website, you'll see what they do. But basically, they store profile photos, and you can use those, and they're attached to email addresses. So if you have, if you're a customer and you have an email address that has a Gravatar attached to it, then it will show up.
Got it. Are there any perks with using the Desk app with other applications that are connected to it? So let's say Evernote.
Oh, I guess you're talking about integrations.
Correct.
We currently do not have integrations with our mobile app. It'd be interesting to know from you guys, like what integrations you most use.
That's great.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, you can send them to support@desk.com if you have any integrations you think will really benefit your workflow. Will our signatures show up in the Desk.com app?
That is a good question. Everything in the mobile app is based on our API, and our website is using the same API. So a lot of things that happen in the web we'll just get it in the mobile app. Like it should. I'm going to check on that. I'll research that. But it should, whatever automatically would happen. It's not really a separate thing from the web app.
Mm-hmm. Great. There are a lot of questions around the difference between iOS and Android, the different features you see in iOS, and sometimes you don't see them in Android. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I know it can be a little confusing to keep up with the features, but because the Android development team is a separate team from the iOS team, and Android development is a little bit different from iOS development, or the review process for getting apps into the App Store for either iOS or Android is entirely different. And obviously the devices are really different. Sometimes we work at different paces. Often, generally, we will release something on iOS first, but sometimes we'll actually get something out in Android first. Right now, we do have some features that are only available on iOS, but that's, at some point we will get to parity, and that's our goal.
That's great. What about the create case option you showed us? Is that available on Android?
Yeah, so right now it's not available on Android, but we're very close. So, I'm hoping that creating a new case on Android will be available in the next, at most 3 months or so, something like that. Yeah, we know that's really important to customers.
Perfect. And what version of the Android app are we at right now?
Oh, you mean what is our version in the Google Play Store?
Yeah.
I think it's clearly it's a bunch of numbers and a decimal point. So
yeah, but it's okay. We can probably.
Right now, I think we're at 1.2.6, if that matters to you. Unless you're asking about the Android version that you have to be on, we support most versions of Android.
Yeah, great. And what about when you were demoing? What types of devices were you using?
Oh, so the demo was on an iPhone 6.
Great. Any plans for a Windows phone app?
Yeah, I hear from you Windows users, and I feel for you because I know they're on a lot of apps. But yeah, it's not in the roadmap at the moment. You never know; things could change. But yeah, we don't have a Windows app, and we don't have plans for it yet.
Got it. And then we have a lot of questions around the mobile SDK. What happens if someone wants to learn more about it?
Yeah, I have a little bit of information that I can email you. I would recommend that you either contact me or you contact your account executive that you might already be in contact with to talk about that because we're going to have a little discussion because everyone's needs are so specific. And this does require development time on your side because it is your app and you have to sort of do the work to get the SDK into your app. So, it's a pilot program and we're accepting candidates for it at this point. So definitely just contact me and we'll work it out.
Great. Is there a time frame for when the ETA is for rolling out, or right now it's in development and we're getting beta customers to really test the functionality?
Oh, for the SDK, the time frame is fairly soon. I think, depending on what happens with the pilot program, it could go in, a couple months. So, it's really dependent on the customers that we get in the program, I think.
Good. All right, switching gears a little bit, we're going to go back to the actual functionality of creating a new case. So when someone is creating a new case in the iOS app, how do they get the subject entered? As soon as they try to enter the name, it goes into the case and they can't edit.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that is something that we're addressing. It's actually a bug that we're going to be fixing the next week or so. And you don't actually need to do an app update even for that. So it should just be there. But for now, there is a workaround. You can go to the web app and actually edit it in there so it'll show up.
And can you use the app for the chat feature on their site?
If you're talking about if you're using the Desk app, it's only a read-only view of the chat. If you're talking about the Desk app as opposed to the SDK.
Yep, correct, the Desk app. Great. So we had a ton of questions. I hope I did a really good job of sourcing through them, organizing it, and getting you guys the answer that you need. If I did not do a good job, you can always email support@desk.com. We'll be there on standby to answer anything else that you want to know about. Thank you so much, Pam, for joining me today. This was really amazing. We had a lot of great engagement. A lot of people were asking questions, so that tells me that this is a topic that we need to talk more about. Thank you everyone on the phone for attending today's webinar. Really appreciate your time. Also, we will send out a recording of this webinar at the end of the show, so you can go back and reference it or send it to any colleagues that might be interested. Once again, thank you, and we hope to see you at our next webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.